Everyone, you are running with the runners. It's Tuesday, August 15th, 2023. Tonight, we're going to look at two coins that you might want to consider adding to your portfolio in the next bull run that's coming up. We're going to give you guys the dates, how to stake them, make 17% APR. While you do it, as always, let me get my good brother in here, Ricardo Hamilton, aka M.I.M.S. Make it make sense. What's going down, my brother? We had a little vacation, but we ready to run.
Yeah. What's good, brother? We always providing value. Got a phenomenal show for you guys. Another great one. It's going to be an exciting week. Before we even get into the show, I just got a text, and maybe in about 10 days, we're going to really hear some really good news. And for those who running with us, you guys know what we're talking about here. Just definitely stay plugged in. But of course, we're constantly, continuously, consistently building our wealth in precious metal assets and cryptocurrency. And that doesn't stop. And that will never stop. No. Not at all. I just got about 10 ounces of silver in the mail just the other day. Okay. So keep stacking, keep winning. And obviously tonight's show, we're definitely going to show some phenomenal value in some crypto coins, projects that you're going to want to probably add to your bag. But yeah, let's get into it, brother.
And we will be, just so you guys know, make sure you're looking at, whether it's the Runners Facebook group or the Telegram group. We're going to be releasing a video here in the next day, kind of cover the issues that have been happening in the last few weeks here. Because we want to make sure our community, knows what's going on and, what might be the best solutions moving forward. So we're going to be recording that soon and getting it out to you guys. So a lot of the questions you have will be answered. Right now, for the most part, we're just going to wait and see what happens and what comes out. But as always, we are going to keep accumulating assets and decentralize everything.
Yeah. So look out for that video, folks, because I know a lot of people want to, they need some guidance in this situation. They want to hear some different views and some opinions. And I know you guys really want to hear from us, and we got them, and we're going to put them in a great video for you guys to kind of give y'all some idea of where we are and what we're doing. And I'll just tell you one thing, it's going to be a great video. So definitely look out for that.
Definitely. So, the last, I would say almost 2 to 3 months, Ricardo, we've really been trying to get the community to focus on the ISO 200, or I'm sorry, I learned to say it better. ISO 222 tokens today and the new financial system. So we have XRP Ripple, Stellar, Hedera Hashgraph, or also called HBAR, Quant, Constellation. What's their other nickname? Constellation. DAG. Yeah. XDC, Algorand, and IOTA. So as we get into this video, Ricardo, he's going to kind of be talking about this a lot. And as he does, I'll have you kind of explain it and make it make sense to everyone. So this is from No BS Crypto. Great channel. I highly recommend that you follow him. But we're going to get into this right now, guys, and then kind of break down what he's saying and why you guys need to pay attention to this, especially the dates, guys. This is huge and key. Having gone through 2 bull runs, I learned in the second one to just follow the trend and learn from history. So let's get into it.
As a serious investor, someone who's invested in the longevity of the space and wants to make the most amount of money possible, I look towards Stellar XLM and Hedera HBAR as those serious investment and plays because of the reasons I'm going to show you in today's video. Guys, I don't think I've seen anyone else break it down at this level just yet. It's really interesting to see both of these plays actually work really well together in the new financial system. And ultimately, in my opinion, if you're going to invest, not financial advice, in any 2 projects based on similar yet different narratives, I think these 2 definitely take the cake. So let me steer your attention now towards the chart and let me explain to you exactly what I'm talking about. But then I'm going to go one step further. I'm not just going to show you this. I'm going to show you how many basically of the tokens you need to acquire to make the most amount of money in 2025 and also beyond. So of course, Stellar XLM and HBAR are I think undoubtedly two of the best projects in the space. They're a perfect blend between payments and also infrastructure, okay? So Stellar obviously has, it's focused on global payments, right? Cross-border, bank the unbanked type thing, and HBAR is just a really, really awesome sort of blockchain solution, right? Hash graph that's completely unique and offers so much diversity in terms of what it can actually handle, okay? So the interesting thing is, and you'll notice from the title of this video, is that both ISO 20022 compliant, which is going to play into what I'm about to talk about, because this is where the crypto space is going. I've spoken many, many times before about how projects are going to be dying in cold in the next bear market, basically, because regulation's going to be coming in. A lot of projects that we know and love, we think they're good, are going to die because they just aren't compatible with the future, and they are pretty much either securities or just like really shady projects. Now, obviously these two aren't, and they are hyper-focused on ISO 20022, right? They're focused on the new financial system, and they have some really awesome partners, connections, and overall infrastructure to make that all happen, okay? So we are just talking about ISO 222. Overall, all the different economies around the world, all the nations are adopting like an instant payment type service, okay? So we've got like the US getting in the FedNow system, right? We've got the UK with faster payments. We've got China over here with IBPS, the European Union with SCT or SEPTA credit transfer, and over here in Australia, we've had this for a few years now, NPP, new payments platform. Of course, it depends, like, as over here in the land down under, of course, this is implemented, has been for many years now, but to the degree it needs to be, no. This takes time to, obviously, for financial institutions to adopt and implement. So, of course, this is all taking time. But at the center of all this possible demand, and I'm going to link this back into XLM and HBAR in a second.
So I want to pause it right there, Ricardo, and just say, love it or hate it, the powers that be are the powers that be, right? I'm still buying Bitcoin, of course, but you can just see here, Ricardo, right? We have basically the entire global monetary system has their own little, like we have our Fed now, and Australia has their MPP. And to me, this is a good thing, right? Because now to try to send Cole some money in Australia is almost impossible if you're not using crypto. But again, maybe you can just speak to how huge this ISO project is of the interconnectability.
Yeah, I mean, the fact of reason that it's exciting and it's huge is because we're able to participate in it. Advancements in, technology and in private sector, in AI and computing are always happening. But is there an opportunity for us to be able to acquire an asset that benefits from the use case and the technology? And, this is why we get excited, because here you can see, obviously, like we talked about, FedNow, Australia, MPP, European Union has their own system similar. China has it, United Kingdom. So, this is a trend. This is where the world is moving. And obviously you can see we're talking about trillions upon trillions of dollars, and all this is going to run on a messaging system. And that messaging system, whether we're talking about, I guess, he's obviously going to get into HBAR and Stellar and different messaging systems, right? But, we have the opportunity to actually acquire these assets and benefit from that use case. So that's what really, I think, makes this very exciting, because it's one thing to hear about cloud computing, right? And learning that you could put everything in the cloud. And there's a whole other thing to realize that there's a cloud, and then you have bought the cloud tokens early on, and now you're a millionaire because you got some cloud tokens, right? So I think it's just exciting to know about it early on and put yourself in position.
And as we found out the hard way, right, the regulators are going to try to purge anything that is not what they want, right? So you always want to diversify. You want to try to be, doing something outside the system, but at the same time, you have to be like, are you really going to try to fight against, the European Union, China, UK, US, Australia? If you can't beat them, join them. And the fact that we can get these tokens at like 5 cents right now, normally we wouldn't even have this opportunity. So this is why you guys got to pay attention.
We have the ISO 20022 standard, right? The new universal messaging standard. So akin to crypto, right? If you guys are like, what is ISO and like this new standard? Why is everyone talking about it? Well, it's literally like the existing crypto solutions we've got for like token transfers, right? So transferring tokens from one blockchain to the other. Typically, it's been quite well, suffice to say, horrible, right? We've had to, burn tokens over here, mint them over here, and it's like this complicated transaction. You've had to hold wallets on different, networks, so on and so forth. Well, with some of the new messaging features we're using now, like XCM on Polkadot, it allows for us to send in one message a transaction and then interact with many different applications on the network and then send it back, again, all in one message. So that's almost akin to ISO 20022 with a bit more features as well. So it'll pretty much allow us to have a universal messaging standard where we can unlock all the different sort of, well, I guess you'd say GDPs, right? So we've got over here in the US, $25 trillion has passed around the economy in 2022.
Did you catch that, Ricardo? Unlock GDPs. That's what this is about, guys. Pay attention.
Over here for the UK, 3 trillion, 19 trillion for the China, right? 16.6 for the European Union and 1.7 over here for Australia, okay? So it's pretty much going to allow all these different economies to interact basically instantly, right? And very complicatedly as well. So here we have HBAR and Stellar, right? At the bottom of this new infrastructure, essentially taking advantage of what's to come. Now, they're either natively compatible or have ecosystem projects that allow them to be ISO 20022 compatible, which is important to remember. And the good thing is they're both compliant right now, so they can interact with this new standard, and therefore they can pretty much interact with, as I said, to varying degrees, the different economies. Obviously right now, as with Australia, for example, NPP isn't exactly used everywhere right now, but as the world moves into 2025 and 2030 to adopt everything in, as granular as it possibly can be in the economy, well, we're going to find both these projects are then able to leverage anything, right? So of course, you could be someone in a financial institution somewhere in the US and then want to transfer your tokens over to HBAR, interact with Soroban, for example, and then run through some DeFi applications and then send the funds back to you all in one message, thanks to ISO and instant payments and so on and so forth, right? So obviously with XLM, you've got the, Soroban as well, which is like their public infrastructure that, people can build dApps on. And obviously it's hyper-focused on payments, banking the unbanked, so on and so forth, thanks to MoneyGram. This can get quite intricate, but I think you guys get the overall gist of it. And then we have HBAR, of course. Now, HBAR, in my opinion, sticks out like a sore thumb for enterprises. So enterprises look at HBAR and go, wow, it's so different, it does so much, it's awesome, it's very secure, so on and so forth, right? It's just a really standout project compared to all of its competitors, all, and I say literally all with an exclamation mark next to it. And then so obviously they're going to be incentivized to want to use the public layer one, right? They're going to want to use things and interact with things like gaming, supply chain, IoT that are building on it because, again, it's ISO 20022 compatible, but also, again, what's this like network effects, right? When you have one application building on it because it's attractive, you have another application building on it because it's attractive. Well, then if they're big enough names, you're going to have a whole plethora of other projects wanting to build on that infrastructure because whether they like the infrastructure or not, you've got those massive names already building on it, okay? And so again, we can go on this forever and ever, but how this kind of links into why these two projects work so well together and why they're so important to hold for the long term is this chart here. Now I've gone.
Okay. So before we get into that, Ricardo, I filmed a video this week for Hedera HBAR. All right. So you guys can go to DeFi Llama. I blow this up. I think it just makes it smaller. So I'm sorry I can't get it bigger. So you go to DeFi Llama and see the, what has happened on Hedera. So you can see here, about a year ago, their DeFi protocol started. They hit their peak around February, and they're starting to climb back up here. So we're under 50 million here, Ricardo. We're under 40 million right now. Under $40 million is in Hedera's DeFi system. All right. So I already got the video recorded. If you want to watch it, just look down below, get the app, get in the Facebook group. But guys, this is where you want to be right now. So I'm going to teach you guys how to use Saucer Swap, which only has 30 million locked. But look at this change here, Ricardo. 40% in the last month, it's gone up. I'm also going to teach you how to use Stater. 16% up in the last month. So this is how I made most of my money in the last bull run, is I got into Ethereum and Uniswap and Polygon and was staking, doing liquidity pools before the big money comes in, right? So again, guys, the key here is to get into these blockchains and interact with them. And that's how you profit huge, because when the big money comes in, you're already there and you're ready to exit when they get there. So I'm going to show you guys again how to use this to make passive income on the blockchain, supplying liquidity. I got about a 3-step process. It's pretty easy. There's also a very simple one. But right now I'm earning 17% APR on HBAR, right? With no impermanent loss because of HBAR and HBAR-X, and I'll explain that in the video. But again, buying HBAR is great. Earning 17% on it a year right now, well, the price is this low. This is the way. This is what you guys want to start doing, is understanding actually how to use the blockchain. This chart is everything, guys, so pay attention.
Over this multiple times in different videos. Essentially, we're finding this transition where the crypto market's going from 100% retail speculation, people like you and I buying crypto, to the next bull run, like the last bull run we just had, we had about 5% or so enterprise adoption. That includes, large corporations and also nations to some degree. And then now I think in 2025, we're going to see probably around 20% enterprise demand, which is important because I think these two projects are going to be at the forefront of that sort of demand, as well as projects like Quant and also XRP. And what I'm kind of going to circle back to is, look, we want to buy these projects, right? I think most of us understand these.
So while he's taking this break here, guys, you need to pay attention to these dates, okay? We are here. Wait, you guys can't see that. You can't see my cursor, can you, Ricardo?
I can't, but I do see the big red "We are here."
Okay, all right. The big red "We are here," all right? So then you go to April 1st, 2024. That's right around where the halving happens, or the halving happens for Bitcoin. So you can go back and look. It was literally 548 days exactly for that, from that halving, from where it happened. So it says right here, it's a little hard to read, but basically it says, based on previous events, it appears the 2025 bull run should be capping out around November, December of 2025, which gives us a clear indication of when we should have our final positions in to minimize capital gains taxes. Give yourself around 3 to 4 months buffer just in case. June, July 2024. So around this June, okay? So what is it now, August?
Well, next year, 2024.
Right. So from August until June, this is it, guys. Okay. That's less than a year. We'll say 10 months. Okay. In the next 10 months, the choices people make will set them up for the future. Okay. So don't worry about the daily price. The next 10 months, you need to position yourself in the cryptocurrency and the blockchains that you believe in to make what I would consider generational wealth. And then October of 2025, I want you to burn this into your memory. Halloween of October 2025, start to take profit. Okay. Halloween 2025, start to take profit. Mims, anything you want to add with that?
No, just, we talk about DCA or, having a plan or strategy. You don't have to have buku bucks. You know what I mean?
No.
But, getting something is better than getting nothing. And even with, crypto.com and other places now, you talk about it, whether it's Bitcoin or you talk about ETH, and obviously you can do XRP now, I think, and, get a lot of these other tokens as well on a reoccurring buy, XLM. I know you can get that there on a reoccurring buy.
And I'm going to talk about that soon.
Okay. Yeah.
I got it. The slide all set up.
Okay. Yeah. I always do that.
You always get running too fast.
Yeah.
All right. So he's going to break this all down for you guys.
Great projects for the long term, and so therefore it's a good hedge, right? Because as I said, a lot of projects are going to be culled between here and probably 2028, right? So pretty much now to the next 5 years. And so these will stand the test of time, essentially, because they are, they're obviously catering themselves to a broader market. They're actually looking to solve real issues in Web 2 existing systems, right? And they're also looking to market themselves to this new emerging Web 3 industry. So I think if you're someone looking to get into these projects in terms of when the best time is, I've kind of pointed out in previous videos that I would say if we can put our last positions in to minimize capital gains around June, July 2024. That is ideal. Now, I say that because, again, I don't want to waste too much time on going into this in this video, but interestingly enough, the last two halvings to the last two tip of the bull markets happened in 548 days. Exactly. Not to the, I'm not like skipping a day here or there. Exactly both 548 days. Mind-bending, right? And so I'm using that as kind of a rough metric. If we're talking about the next Bitcoin halving being April 1st, it would put the tip of the next bull run at about the 30th of October 2025. Now, I'm giving us about, 3 to 4 months leeway here because, well, essentially history doesn't repeat, it rhymes. Now, obviously it had repeated coincidentally, freakishly, the last two bull runs, but we can't count on that moving forward.
And again, guys, listen to what he said. Think about that. Bitcoin is a 4-year cycle because the halving. The last two bull runs from the bottom to the top literally were 548 days. Now, it might not be exactly that same again, but if lightning strikes twice, it might strike a third time. So pay attention to these dates. I'm going to put them in my phone right now, Ricardo, is my birthday is in June. Okay. So that's going to be, I want to have all my positions set by then. I want to buy as many coins as I can. And then Halloween 2025, you're going to want to start taking profit. That's what I'm doing. You guys can do what you want to do.
So I'm going to give ourselves from 12 months before this and then about 3 to 4 months leeway. And that's kind of what we come with these dates here, right? So these dates are what I believe we should have our final positions in to minimize capital gains. Capital gains is a really big screwer of profits, as I think most of us know. Over here in Australia, it can be up to about 50%. So it's ridiculous. We want to minimize that. And so I thought I would just quickly mention that as well. Now, again, both these projects are important for the longevity.
Oh yeah, a little preview. We're going to be bringing you guys some info here real soon to kind of, so you don't have to worry about taxes at all. M.I.M.S, did I give away too much?
Nah, I think you said it perfectly. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. You can't be more frank than that.
That's right. I mean, that's just insane. 50% capital gains tax. That's
retarded.
What's the point?
Got to get free.
Yeah. Well, we're going to teach you guys how to escape the matrix here in a little bit.
That's why I want to talk about them so much, is because, I don't want to talk about a project that, I'm not going to name names here, that might sound really good now, but I just don't see a future in, right? It's not ISO 222 compliant, or even if it wants to be, and of course, projects do evolve over time, so I must give other projects credit for that. We want to look at the projects that actually have their connections there, that actually have really awesome infrastructure, have fantastic teams, economics models, right? Fantastic foundations. They're actually making deep connections already and they're working right now. And both of these projects are cream of the crop, top 10 projects in my opinion, right? So make no mistake, you can buy all your other speculative projects, but this is still speculation, but I firmly believe in their future. They're going to be very prosperous. And so that's why I want to show you this. Now, if you're someone who's like, Kyron, yeah, these are great projects, but they're high up there in the market cap. Look, I'm going to side with you and say understandable, but listen to what I'm about to explain to you. It might make things make more sense. Now, I'm going to go over this example in more depth with XLM, but the exact same situation is going to play out with HBAR in a minute. So I'm just going to gloss over that. Now, I've already made multiple videos going over this example, but again, I want to run through it for this one for those who missed it. Now, in Stellar, right? Let's just say you bought at today's price, 17 cents. You only have $1,000 to invest, right? So you put $1,000 in, and roughly speaking, you got about 6,000 XLM out of the market. Well, let's just say the price goes to $2 at the very, very top of the next bull run. This is 2025 over here, right? Well, let's just say we didn't time the top exactly and we sold out just about here, right? Roughly. So rather than us making about $12,000, aka 12x, let's just say we only 10x. Again, we're not timing the top here. And let's just say we bought in again in the next bear market at the average price of about 50 cents, right? Let's say it went a little bit lower, a little bit higher, but let's say we averaged at about 50 cents, okay? So we compounded all of our profits at $10,000, again, that we had originally $1,000, we bought 20,000 XLM. Well, here's the really interesting thing that everyone needs to know, and I didn't know this until only a few weeks ago. If we then bought in all 20,000 XLM and then sold, again, I'm just throwing random numbers, no one's gonna really be able to predict a 2030 price, roughly 20 bucks, we'd make about $400,000. So again, simple maths, right? We just get a 20,000 XLM we bought, and then we times it by 20, $400,000, right? We 40x essentially. And these projects essentially can do that. Why? Because they're for the longevity. They're in the market for the long term. As ISO becomes, and the instant payment solutions become more and more prominent, so too will these projects, because they are hedging themselves into this new world financial system and future. Okay, so, but here's the sort of existential question everyone has and everyone thinks actually works in the space, and that's holding tokens because you bought them cheaper earlier on. So for example, the same thing plays out, right? 17 cents, we bought $1,000 in at this current price, we have 6,000 XLM. Cool. Well, let's say it's 2025 and the same thing plays out. We're not going to time the top over here at $2. Let's say we sell over here, but instead of selling all 6,000 XLM like we did before and compound it, let's say we only, sold 5,000. So we have essentially $10,000 if we sold at the top and 1,000 left over. But remember, we're not geniuses, so we're not selling at the top. We're selling probably around here. Okay, so again, fast forward to the bear market, 2028, about 50 cents or so XLM price. Again, we didn't sell at the top. Let's say we got about $8,000, right? And so we put that all back into XLM. So we bought 16,000 XLM tokens. And remember, we're still holding 1,000 XLM from before, okay, over here. So hopefully that makes a bit of sense. Over here, rather than us obviously having $12,000 in timing the top over in 2025. In this example, again, we missed that. We only got 10,000. The same thing applies over here. We're still missing out on 2,000, right? Rather than selling 5,000 tokens and getting 10,000, we're selling again, and we're just missing the top and getting 8,000 tokens. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. If that's confused you, just re-listen to it. I know I talk a little bit fast. So what do we get overall, right? So let's just say again, we buy down here, we get 16,000 XLM with all of that money we had from over here, plus the 1,000 XLM. Well, at the end of the day, we have 17,000 tokens, which means we're actually missing out here on $60,000. $60,000. Because again, it's not the price you buy the tokens, it's how many tokens you have, okay? The reason we associate with buying cheap.
Okay, he said something very important there, M.I.M.S.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, can you maybe make that make sense?
Yeah, it's what we say all the time. Don't value your wealth in dollars, value your wealth in quantity. You see, so many times people are focused on the price and they always ask, well, when is Bitcoin going to hit 1 million? Or, when is the next bull market? And what you have to really understand is it doesn't matter. Is are you ready? Do you have enough? Do you have enough tokens? Do you have enough ounces of silver? So as you can see, like you said, it's not about price per se and what you buy, but it's about the quantity. So value your wealth, not in dollars, because a dollar is not a unit of wealth. Internationally, the dollar is losing its status around the world, and inflation is burning up the value of your dollars. Value your wealth and how many ounces of silver you got. Value your wealth and how many ounces of gold you got. Value your wealth and how many of a particular token or cryptocurrency coin you have, not necessarily the price that you put it in. So, I mean, get a bag, get a big bag, get a big bag in the projects that you like, that you love, that you believe in. I know that's what I'm doing in this bear market.
Yeah, guys, we say this all the time, right? The dollar. And again, he's trying to, appeal to a mainstream audience, right? He's just kind of a crypto guy. He's not going to try to take them to the next level and be like, don't worry about dollars, right? And we might cash out, Hedera H-bar in 2025, and it might not be dollars, it might be silver, because who knows what the dollar will be then, and there could be such inflation where it could be way more. So we don't know, but again, we know what cryptocurrency is going to do with, it's basically just math. So just keep that in mind. As he's got great, graphics and great teacher, but again, it might be something else. It doesn't necessarily mean we're just going to be sitting in dollars and whatnot.
Cheaper prices, and why it's important to buy as low as possible is because we can acquire more tokens at a cheaper price for less money, right? So we acquire more tokens for less. So for example, a really rich guy, for example, could have still 40x'd his money over here. Someone that had all the money in the world. Let's just say he's a, multi-millionaire. I might clear this chart up really quickly just to make it easier on your eyes. But essentially, it works out pretty much the same, right? So if a millionaire, for example, bought over here and he decided to buy the same amount of 20,000 XLM tokens as you did at 50 cents, well, let's say the price is about $10 over here. This guy, to acquire 20,000 XLM tokens like you did, might have to actually spend, let's just hypothetically say here, $1 million. So you can see we're trying to acquire those tokens. Now, this guy, if the price hit $20, he's doubling his money, right? It's as simple as that. So he knows he's doubling his money. but we're looking at the amount of tokens we have, because then if you buy cheaper tokens, again, you can look at those multiples. So what I'm essentially trying to say here is if you can compound for any less than the price at the top of the previous bull market, so for example, anything less than $2, it's actually viable for you to compound, take all your profits out at the top of the bull market and then put them all back in at when you think a decent price is in the next bear market. Okay, so again, the same situation applies over here for HBAR. I've actually ran through this exact example before on a dedicated HBAR video, but again, we spent $1,000 and we acquired 20,000 HBAR at 5 cents today. Well, again, we're not geniuses. We're not timing the top at $2 over here.
And just if you guys remember for one of our last videos, my goal and kind of what a lot of people are saying is you want to get a 100,000 HBAR. Okay. So forget about $100,000. $5,000 gets you 100,000 HBAR. Okay. So I think that's going to be one of my new goals is 100,000 HBAR, right? You guys can choose your own goal, but that's what you want to focus on. And I'll kind of show you how I'm going to get there.
So rather than us getting $40,000 out, let's just say we get a 30x rather than 40x, right? We have $30,000. Well, in this case, we can buy, if we compound all of that, 120,000 HBAR, right? So we put 120,000 HBAR by, let's just say a hypothetical number, $15, and we sell at the top of the 2030 bull run, we get 1.8 million. Well, let's go through the example again of what if we didn't sell in 2025? What if we only sold, rather than 20,000 HBAR, what if we only sold 18,000 HBAR and kept 2,000? Well, again, ignore the $36,000 we could have made because we don't time the top. We only put, let's say we only made $25,000. And again, same price, 25 cents. Well, if we reinvested the 25K, we'd get 100,000 HBAR. We're still holding the 2,000 HBAR we hold on to from all the way over here. But again, it doesn't matter. We only have 102,000 HBAR to sell in 2025, 2030 rather. We get.
So that's why I'm going for 100,000 HBAR, Ricardo. 1.5 milli, whatever that's worth then.
Right.
Pretty good idea.
Yeah.
1.5 million bucks rather than 1.8 million. Huge difference there. Almost $300,000. So what I'm trying to say is you don't have to have a lot of money to start to hedge into these amazing projects today. All you have to do is follow a compound strategy. Now, if I loop back here for 1 second and say, remember these prices, these times over here, we have to look at this as well, right? So if you're someone who's looking in 2027 or 2028, and yes, you should plan this far out into, okay, well, I want to obviously buy these tokens. Well, again, to minimize capital gains, we don't want to lose all of the potential money anyway. You want to obviously look at however, far out you need to buy from the tip of the bull market, which obviously you should give yourself some leeway, 3 to 4 months, 6 months, whatever it might be. So this is what you should be doing as someone who wants to hedge into these projects. You might only have $1,000 or $500. I mean, you can just see the explosive potential I'm guessing that's going to happen here in 2030, right? It's going to be up here somewhere because we're not going to have, let's just say 20% enterprise adoption. We're probably going to have 80% enterprise adoption. So the projects like HBAR and XLM that are at the forefront of where the world is moving, it's going to be very important, right? You're going to be hedging into the right project. So hopefully that has made a little bit of sense for you guys. Hopefully I didn't run through that too quickly, but if I have, let me know down below because I have made a
awesome video from No BS Crypto. Brother really breaks it down. He has unbelievable stuff on his channel. So make sure you check him out, give him a follow. And guys, I mean, just you can go to hedera.com, right? And scroll down here. I mean, we're talking about Boeing, Dell, Deutsche Telekom, Google, IBM, LG literally has a node that they run that you can stake in, right? Banks, Ubisoft. All right. So this is like serious stuff, right? That's been vetted, that's, been approved by the powers that be. So you definitely want to make sure you're getting some exposure to these areas. M.I.M.S, I got one more thing to show, but your reaction to just what he talked about and what people need to know.
Yeah, I would just say, it's not necessarily counterintuitive, but nobody wants to buy when it's red.
Right.
Nobody wants to buy when there's not a lot of hype, when there's not a lot of excitement around a project or a crypto asset or something like this. But I'm telling you, this is where the millionaires are made. The people who understand, the value, the use case, the partnerships, the developments that are happening on chain, the future events to come. And these are the people who buy into that. They say buy the rumor, sell the news. So the people who are buying into the value of what this is and this opportunity in these markets early on, where the dollars are going much farther because the value of these tokens are lower and they're getting a bigger bag. And when these events take place, those are the people who are sitting pretty, sitting on some commas, sitting on some zeros in their wallet, and so that's the opportunity that you have when you get this information early on and when you actually apply it, because just knowing it is not good. You actually got to apply it. And so a lot of us who are doing, what it is that needs to be done in the coming months and years, we'll never have to worry about money again, or we'll never have to work a job again. And that's the thing. And the other side of that is time. It's not about timing the market. It's about time in the market, right? So don't try to time it. It's more about how long you've been in. You acquire it now. That's why I said, because timing the market is you waiting for the bottom. You trying to buy in at the best price. That's you timing the market. Remember, he said, don't worry about the price that you buy it at. Just focus on getting as many tokens as you can. Now, of course, there's a caveat. Yes, you do want to, if you know how to read the chart, maybe wait for a pullback, get it at the best price. But ideally, the whole point is that you want to once again constantly, continuously, consistently build your wealth in these assets.
And so I'm just going to show you guys as we kind of wrap up here. This is what I'm doing. You guys have to make your own decisions. These are my weekly recurring buys on crypto.com. All right. And we have videos in the Runners app that show you how to do this. I'm getting $20 of Algorand, $50 of Stellar, $50 of Hedera or HBAR, $50 of Chainlink, $50 of Ripple, $50 of Polkadot, and $50 of Polygon. All right. I know I have a hard time making decisions. All right. I want a buffet. And I'm also getting $20 of ordinals. I couldn't fit it on the screen. All right. And then I get Bitcoin from Swan, which we also show you how to do in the app. But the point here is, guys, is I know that the next 10 months will decide those who create generational wealth in the next Bitcoin bull run. So you don't have to do everything I'm doing, but I would pick at least one or two of these projects, research them, and start dollar cost averaging every single week into them. And then every few weeks, I'll pull them off crypto.com into my own wallet, of course. Do not keep crypto on exchanges. Okay. Decentralize everything as much as you can. And again, I would definitely consider, make sure you understand the ISO 222 protocol, what it is, and research these, pick out the ones that you like, start dollar cost averaging, and then pull them off into your own wallet. M.I.M.S, any last words tonight?
No, that was a great show. Like we said earlier, folks, we're going to put out a video here very soon in regard to recent events that have taken place over the last week or so that has affected our whole community. And we have it's going to be a great video that we put out. And so we'll give you the information to that. And we should expect to hear some news in about 10 days or so, maybe less than 10 days from my understanding. Or by the end of the month, I don't know, because I know everybody's waiting for some news, some news, and we expect to hear some, and we're gonna put a video out soon. So,
and again, guys, like Ricardo said at the beginning, the point is to always keep getting assets. If you are not stacking gold and silver right now, you're absolutely crazy. If you're not dollar cost averaging into the blockchain or your favorite cryptocurrency, you're missing out on the next bull run. So remember those dates again, guys. By this June, you want to have your positions in. October, Halloween, 2025, you better start selling. And it's going to be crazy. I'm going to predict this, Ricardo. Elon Musk is going to be on Saturday Night Live with some spooky coin or something on Halloween, and everyone's going to think crypto is going to keep going forever. And then it's going to start to go down right after that. Right? So have a plan, set it and forget it, automate getting wealthy, because we know what's going to happen based on the history. This is the time, guys. This is the best opportunity, the best chance to be alive. And I forgot to say this, Ricardo. I do think we will have some sort of a black swan crash between here and June. It's almost inevitable with how crazy everything is.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
No, I'm right there with you. I think that, I think he gave a great strategy for HBAR, XLM, and a lot of those projects, getting a big bag in the next few months, and having a exit strategy, so to speak.
Right.
But understand something, folks, that this is a focus on long term. Don't sell everything. Focus 2025, 2030, and beyond, because we know that the monetary system's changing. We know we're in a great reset, largest wealth transfer in history. The dollar is losing its status, it's losing its value all around the world. And you want to make sure that you have something of value. You want to make sure you have assets. You want to make sure you give yourself options, put yourself in a position to have a better quality of lifestyle. There's so many people who don't get this information. Don't think that everybody knows this stuff. A lot of people don't know. I just, saw a video where people, are walking past a 10-ounce bar of silver on the streets. Hundreds of people would just walk past a 10-ounce bar of silver. Right. But if it was $800 cash, which is the equivalent of that 10-ounce bar of silver, everybody would have picked up them $100 bills.
Right.
But because they didn't know, they don't know. And so it's the same thing with crypto. I mean, people barely understand gold and silver, let alone you start talking about crypto, and you start talking about the use cases and, distributed ledger technology and blockchains and all this and that. They don't understand none of that. But I'm telling you, if you're watching this, if you're running with us, if you in this space, you're so far ahead of the masses, especially if you're acquiring these assets right now. Your loved ones and your future yourself is going to be so happy that you did.
And over under, Ricardo, how many times do you think Trump gets indicted?
Yeah, I mean, this is ridiculous.
I'm going 7.
Yeah,
7 or above.
The Black Swan event is the election. I'll tell you that much right there.
Oh,
go ahead.
Who knows? We can't get into that, or we get banned.
Right.
All right, guys, we love you. We appreciate you. I know things may seem a little dark and down right now, but I am super positive about where things are going and what we're gonna show and shock the world. So stay strong, stay positive. Again, as always, it comes down to your mindset. That is literally the most important thing. And I've taught you guys for years to embrace the pain, right? That's what I'm doing. No matter what happens, the more pain, the more struggle, the more, whatever life throws at you, I get excited about, because it's a chance to transform, to grow, to become bigger, and to become stronger. And that's what we're going to do as a community. So we will get that video, guys, out to you soon. Everyone have a great week. We love you guys. Lace up.
Let's get wealthy.